environmental management.
Okay. Sorry, please, let's mute your mic if you're not having to talk. All right. Thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody once again. My name is Olajumoke Omitola, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's event. As you know, we're in the M365 community, where we usually every week we develop ourselves, we train ourselves, we teach ourselves on the use of Microsoft 365 apps and service. So today we're doing that again, and that's why we're here. So I want to welcome everybody that is here once again, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to actually learn one or two things from today's session. So, like I said earlier, my name is Deji Omitola. I am a modern workplace expert, also a Microsoft certified trainer. This is just a little bit of what I do and about myself. I work with Ashen Limited as a modern workplace solution architect, and I basically help organizations to meet their um, various IT needs, and I have a great understanding of Microsoft 365, Azure, and also on premises, Active Directory, and Exchange Server. And a few housekeeping rules before we proceed. Please let us know that this session will be recorded so that we can always watch it all over again, or perhaps share with one or two people that we want them to benefit from this also. And let us ensure that microphones are muted, so that we do not distract others with background noise. And if you have any questions, you can pen it down to the Q&A session. And I don't know, probably the our main speaker might also want you to just stop in by the way, and depending on him. But generally, we say end of the session, you can just ask your questions. And we are on Twitter and LinkedIn. Do well to join, follow us, and on YouTube also. You can subscribe to our channel so that you can continue to watch previous and future episode. All right. So, okay. Yeah. So this is what we're doing today. We're discussing Microsoft Purview Part 2. Microsoft Purview Part 2. We already had the Part 1. So we're continuing on those today. And all right. So these are meet our main speaker for today. Our main speaker, Chinke Emeka Ojiji. Chinke is a dedicated technical support engineer who thrives in solving complex IT challenges. And I wanted to mark the word complex. So Chinke you can tell that he's an expert already. Um, you know, he has a strong background in troubleshooting. He's passionate about ensuring that technology runs smoothly for businesses. That is what technology is all about. It's not just about having technology, it is ensuring that it meets the requirements of whoever is using it or whichever organization is using it. And that is a very, very good one. So, Chinke, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. And we really hope to learn a lot from you today. All right. So, going forward, oh, okay. So here is Olajumoke Toriola, who is a leader in the Microsoft 365 community, and she's the main organizer of the 365. This event that we're actually holding. She's an MCT. She's an MVP. She's the regional director of Microsoft. She is a technology guru. I call her a technology guru. She has over 18 years of work experience, and she has superior expertise in developing, implementing, and supporting complex infrastructures and technical solutions for various industry verticals. She's a MCT MVP. and she's a co-founder of Textilers, a community focused on bringing more women into tech. And I have actually worked directly with her. I know that she is indeed an expert when it comes to Microsoft. So yeah, so that is that. And introduction. Enough of my talking, so we can start to for today's session. Okay. All right. So I think that will be it. Chinke, I believe we are good to go, right? Chinke, I think you're muted. I can hear you.
Thank you so much, Deji. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for making it here, even with your busy schedules. I know it's a weekend, so everyone has things to do, but you're still here. Thank you so much. And thank you, Deji, for the introduction as well. So, today we're going to be talking about insider risk management and privileged access management. I know we have 1 hour, we have 45 minutes basically left, so I'll try as much as possible to touch what I can uh, concerning this. I'll start, let me share my screen. So today I'm going to play us, today mostly I just want you to pay attention. Now, the thing about the Purview, your questions after the last session, after when we're done, you can type in the questions. If you have any questions along the line, just feel free to type it in the chat. I'll check it. And when we're done, we'll now handle the questions because I have 3 videos to play for us today. Now, in these videos, you're going to see practical demonstrations on how to carry out this insider risk policies within the M365 compliance Purview, Microsoft Purview compliance portal. So let's start. Let me share my screen. And please, if there's any correction or anything you want to make while I'm talking, please just feel free to raise your hands uh, using the raise hand feature in Teams. All right, kindly let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see as well.
All right, fantastic. Okay. All right, so talking about insider risk management, basically what we're talking about is being an organization being at risk from inside. Now, when you see a lot of people that start companies and so on, they're taking a huge risk because one, your company has to be compliant with whatever regulations of wherever you are based. Now, in certain countries, there are certain things that are allowed. In some countries, there are certain things that are not allowed. And in certain businesses, for example, in the medical space, you're handling client information, you're handling personal identifiable information of a lot of people. The government expects that you are compliant to a certain level. And if you're at risk from inside the organization, it's even worse. It's better for them to know that the risk is coming from outside, but if the risk is coming from inside, that's where it's a problem. And so Microsoft has thought of it that, oh, how do we help these companies? How do we assist them so that the protection starts from within? Now, what are they protecting the organization from? They are protecting the organization from data leakages, IP theft, uh, identity theft, business idea theft. These are part of the things that they can that can be taken from an organization. Now, as an employee of an organization, every single thing that you're doing under the insider risk management, any organization that makes use of insider risk management, anything that you're doing, if you're part of that organization, is being monitored. Now, if for instance you're sending out, you say, oh, you want to send out credit card information, and you are using your personal work, your work email to send out instead of your personal email, and then you send out that credit card information, it can get blocked because of insider risk management, and the message won't be delivered. Why? Because credit card information is it's part of data. It's sensitive data. Last week, I believe you all learned a little about DLP, data loss protection prevention, and insider risk management makes use of DLP. It works right alongside DLP and audit logs. Now, it uses it to monitor what kind of data is being passed around, what kind of data is being moved out of the organization. If it's data that can cause possible compromise, then it's going to block it. So talking about that, we'll start by playing the first video. It's quite short. I think it's about five minutes. Please notify me if you're able to hear. You can notify with a raise of hands if you're able to hear the video. Please, could you hear that? Are we able to hear the video, please?
No, we can't. I can't actually.
Okay.
No, I can't. No.
Okay. That's where, give me a moment. I wasn't sure if this, please give me a moment, please. Okay, let's try it. Any luck?
At all. Are you sharing from the desktop version of Teams or the web version? I think
Desktop version.
the desktop. Okay. You should be able to share audio. I think there's an option to share audio. So you do that.
Yeah, hold on.
Well,
I'll
maybe
need
on
to,
share
let me
your
cancel
screen,
the
and when
share.
you're trying
Yeah.
to share, then you share the audio. Yes.
Okay. So that should work now.
And take action as needed.
Can you hear now?
All while ensuring that usernames are anonymized
Perfect.
if needed to help.
All right.
With all the activities your employees and vendors perform in Microsoft 365 each day, it can be hard to know which ones might be posing a risk to your organization. Insider Risk Management is here to help. This unified solution provides flexible, guided workflows that help you detect a broad range of user activities across your Microsoft 365 org investigate and triage those activities to identify potential risks, and take action as needed, all while ensuring that usernames are anonymized if needed to help meet privacy standards. When you first visit Insider Risk Management, you're guided through a few steps to help you get started. The first step is to run a scan to detect recent user activity across Microsoft 365 locations. When it's complete, review anonymized results to identify potential risks and get recommendations on which policies to set up. Once you've decided which types of risk activities you want to detect, it's time to set up your first policy. Select the policy template related to the type of risk activity you want to track. There are templates for detecting data theft, security policy violations, and data leaks. After adding the users whose activity you want to analyze, select the user activities, called indicators, that you want to track to detect potential risks. Depending on the template you chose, you'll see indicators for tracking activity in locations like SharePoint, Teams, third-party apps, devices, and more. Next, choose the triggering event. This determines when the policy starts assigning risk scores to users' activity. Like indicators, available triggering events depend on which template you chose. For example, if you selected the data theft template, you can trigger the policy to assign risk scores when a resignation date is added for a user, or when a user account is deleted from Azure Active Directory. When a triggering event is detected, and a user performs an activity that matches the policy's thresholds, an alert appears on the alerts dashboard. Each alert is scoped to one user and contains a detailed breakdown of what was detected, including which activities the user performed and the risk scores that were assigned to each activity. For more details, open Activity Explorer to review file names, where the activity occurred, applied sensitivity labels, sensitive info types contained in detected items, and more. If you need to investigate an alert further, you can confirm it and create a case. Cases are the heart of insider risk management and allow you to deeply investigate and act on a user's activities. Cases offer many workflows and tools for identifying potential insider risks. For example, creating a case automatically creates a team to help you collaborate with others on the case. You can use Power Automate flows to streamline common investigation tasks. Review all activity from all alerts detected for the user, including the actual content related to the activities. If additional legal review is required, you can escalate the case for investigation. This creates an advanced e-discovery case, where legal teams can review and take appropriate action. Protect your business with Insider Risk Management. Learn more at aka.ms/IRM overview.
Okay. So that gives like a brief description of the process of insider risk management, what it does, how it creates policies, and it has triggering alerts. Is there any question from what you've just watched?
Hi. Hello, Chinke.
Hi, Funsho.
Yeah,
How
this
are
is
you?
for sure. Yeah, I'm fine. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say this insider risk management. First, what's the difference between audit logs and insider risk management? Like when you have created a case.
Mm.
So, and then secondly,
So,
like, okay, you want to say something?
no, no, go ahead.
All right. Secondly, let's say I've created a and I've seen some data. I've created a case. How
Mm.
long will I be able to see the activity that is going on? Does it take hours for me as an admin, days, me as an admin to see the activity that has been going on?
Okay. Now, thank you very much for your question. Now, if you recall, when we started this series in the beginning of November, I discussed about the compliance portal, the Purview compliance portal, and some of the contents within there. And one of the first things I mentioned about using the Purview is the permissions. Now, if you do not assign the right permissions, you won't be able to see what you need to see within the cases in the insider risk management. You won't even be able to use the portal, the insider risk portal. So let me come here, give me a moment. So under permissions, one of the permissions that you need is insider risk manager. Give me a moment. Yeah, if insider risk management admins. There's also the insider risk management analysts. So in case you are bringing in people from outside the organization, maybe the case needs further analysis, you can create a user for them and give them the analyst and investigator role, so that they'll have all access to the insider risk case that you've created. And you can as well give them e-discovery manager as well. If the case is an escalated case, then they will need e-discovery manager, because it's going to create an e-discovery case. Now that's for the second question. For the first question about the difference between audit log and insider risk, you see, audit log captures, insider risk makes use of audit log. Now, why is that? They tell you that before you are able to configure any policy in insider risk management, you need to have turned on your audit log. Now, turning on your audit log allows for insider risks to be able to monitor certain activities and report certain activities. Now, if you're looking for, if a user has, let's say, deleted sensitive information, maybe they did something, they sent an email out or something and they deleted it, audit log will help you track down, okay, this is the user that deleted at so time. Insider risk alerts you as to sensitive information being passed out by that user. Then you can use audit log as a confirmation to be sure that, okay, let's say this user moved or sent out these files or this data, or this user deleted data from their mailbox and so on. Most organizations, well, for me, I recommend to most organizations that handle a lot of sensitive data to put what is called a hold, an in-place hold on mailboxes that they term as important. Now, that hold will make sure that even if anything is deleted from the mailbox or from the user generally, that data is not deleted from the organization. It can still be searched out using content search. Okay. Funsho, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Like for the first question and the second question, I was like, with me as an admin, will I be able to see
Yeah.
it immediately? Like,
So as I mentioned, when you have these roles and scopes and an alert happens, right? Now,
okay,
one thing, I'll be very plain and honest with you, because you see, Microsoft is very dynamic. There are changes even as we speak within this center. Changes are ongoing constantly. Constant changes are happening. Now, reporting of user activities sometimes do not come in real time. Sometimes those reports, those alerts, because you set, when you're setting insider risk policies, you're also going to set alerts. Now, those alerts will allow you to be notified when something happens, and then you can decide to confirm and investigate, or if it's an expected activity, you confirm and you don't create a case, right? You resolve the case. Now, sometimes these activities are reported within a couple of hours. Sometimes it can take more.
Okay.
It varies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it varies. But generally, they are reported definitely within the first 24 hours. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. All right. So proceeding. So we've had an idea of what the insider risk management is and what it does, right? Now, talking about who can use this, what is needed in order to use this insider risk management as an organization. Now, you're going to need certain subscriptions to use it. These subscriptions are the 365 E5, the 365 E5 compliance, and 365 E5 insider risk management. These are the subscriptions that allow you to make use of the insider risk management in the Purview portal. Now, talking about what type of risks, right, organizations can be exposed to, internal risks now, because we're talking about the risk that is from inside the organization. Now you're talking about fraud, you're talking about intellectual property. That's what is called IP theft. When I mentioned IP theft earlier, intellectual property, espionage, leaks of sensitive business assets, confidentiality violations, sabotage, fraud, insider trading, code of conduct violations, regulatory compliance violations. Now, these are all normally these are violations that you will be given papers to sign. When you get into a new company, they load you with a lot of paperwork and tell you, oh, sign here, sign here. Sometimes most of us don't even read this paperwork that we are signing. Now, those paperworks might contain laws that govern whatever state the company is located. There may be hidden laws there on what type of information should be shared. Maybe you have a friend or a team member that's located in a different region, say Russia, for instance, and then you're trying to share files with someone in Russia, or you're trying to share files with someone in Uzbekistan or in England, and so on, and you're in a different zonal area. Now that data is going to cross regions. So the region is entering, you need to know, oh, is that data compliant with that region? Do they allow for such data? It will shock you some very weird instances as to things that are not allowed in certain places. It's it's wide. It's a full range. You can't even imagine some of these policies that governments put in to try and protect the data and protect their people. For instance, I know there are HIPAA laws that govern medical practices, whereby if you're running a medical practice, because of the data of your patients in your hospital or any medical establishment you're using, there are certain applications that you are allowed to use. You are allowed to use applications that are only HIPAA compliant. Now, you ask, is Microsoft a lot of I have in the support space, I have received questions from customers whereby they're asking Microsoft 365, is it HIPAA compliant? Does it allow them to be able to use uh, use Word, Excel, and put their patient's data on there? Will they be sued for doing that? Because if they're using an application that is not HIPAA compliant, they are violating laws. And if they are found out, they can be sued. So that's part of it. insider trading, code of conduct violations, and regulatory compliance violations. Now, basically, giving an idea of what kind of risk we can experience in terms of fraud, you have an insider establishes a business as a vendor and awards contracts to that business. Now, that's a case of fraud, and that is somebody, the person awarding these contracts to these people is coming from the inside. That's a threat. Now, insider risk management is supposed to identify some of these things when they're seen. For instance, this person that is giving this contract outside might not necessarily be sharing information via email, but if, for instance, there's anything within the organization, within the 365 space that will point, or any other, now insider risk management also collaborates with third party. So for instance, if there's a different application you're using, a third-party application, if you've enabled the policy inside your organization, Insider Risk is also going to monitor that third-party application so far it's registered. It's going to, it has the ability to monitor third-party, it has the ability to monitor your operating system as well and report on activities when you add, depending on the policy that is set. Now, if this employee that creates a business outside and so on makes the mistake of probably receiving an email from the vendor, right, that's their family member or something that connotes to violating these laws, it can be reported and a case can be created to investigate. Now note, the person in question committing the fraud will not even be aware that they are being monitored, because this alert goes into the administrator and is left at the discretion of the administrator to then create the case and investigate. Now, insider risk will show you, okay, this is what I saw. This is an email I saw that prompted the alert, that triggered the alert. This is something, those are the indicators that were mentioned in the video I played earlier. Now, these indicators will point to you that, oh, this user is sending and receiving emails in such a certain manner. These emails are talking about certain things, and then you can monitor. Now, it will monitor what is being shared, a file that is being shared. If this user receives an email of a quote or something, you are able to monitor it. If there are discrepancies in the code that is received from the code that is displayed to the organization later, you are able to monitor these things. Those are what analysts, insider risk management analysts do, and investigators. So you also have leak of sensitive or confidential information. For instance, credit cards, bank accounts with short codes and so on. Those are sensitive information, or it can also be trade secrets. It can be trade secrets as well that can be shared outside the organization. And also, now, one very, I think this is the most common area that affects all, that can affect anybody: actions and behaviors that violate corporate policies. Now, a lot of us in our organizations, we use Microsoft Teams and so on, and we send back and forth emails. Now, sometimes someone might get really upset or in a very bad mood and use very offensive language, right? If this is something that is, if your organization has their insider risk turned on, right, and you are threatening or using offensive language on someone in a Teams chat, for instance, right, and it's, let's say the extent of it is very high, insider risk can point that out. Now, it's left to the discretion, as I said, of the administrator to either create a case or to let it be. But it can point it out that, oh, this user is using very offensive language and is being very hostile. It can point such things out. That's how deep it goes. There are any single activity that is carried out in whatever is covered by the policy can be caught. That's the beauty of insider risk. It gives the power to the administrator to be able to monitor what goes on inside the organization. Now, this is the workflow for the insider risk policy. As said, depending on what you want to look at, there are different templates when creating it. Now, because of time, we won't go into much into the creation. I'm just going to give an overview so that we can touch a little of the privileged access management as well. So the workflow is policy. You create the policy, you have alerts, then you have triages where you can then investigate these cases after the case has been created. Now, it's at the point of the alerts that you decide if you're going to create a case or not. Now, if, as I said, is expected activity, then you don't need to create a case. But the moment you see that alert and you say, oh, this is something that needs further investigation, then you can then create the case, open a new case, and assign the alerts, or you assign the alert to an existing case if it's something that has to do with a case that you've already created, or you dismiss the alert. Now, after investigating, then you can take action. Now, take action is by informing HR or sending the employee a notice or escalating it outside of the organization as necessary. Okay. So that's that about this. This is what the policy dashboard looks like, and as I mentioned, there are different templates and so on. So far, please, is there any question, anything so far that you'd like to ask? Okay. All right. So we'll proceed. These are some of the performance indicators that are in the policy template. You can notify sharing files from SharePoint Online, sharing folders, sharing SharePoint Online sites. Now, to the question that Funsho asked earlier about the difference between audit log, and now you notice that some of these activities are activities also mentioned in audit logs searches. So it's a fusion. You have audit, you make use of audit log when you're using an insider risk policy. So it's able to identify, once you select all these indicators and it gives you an alert, you're able to cross-check with the audit log to see. Now it's also able to give you that alert because your audit log is turned on. You cannot, again, I repeat, use insider risk management without making use of, or without turning on your audit log. Yeah. I will share this documentation. Because of time, we won't be going too deep in. As I mentioned, we'll just do an overview because we still have 2 more videos to play. Also, insider risk management makes use of data loss, DLP, data loss prevention, because you know the sensitive info types which are created when you are using a data loss prevention policy. These sensitive info types are also used in insider risk management. Insider risk is able to catch those sensitive info types and reports and give an alert depending on which sensitive info type is caught. So it makes use of the DLP as well. Now, let us quickly go into privileged access management. Now, privileged access management is also within the purview. And what does it do? It gives you access to be able to carry out certain privileged tasks. Now, for this, because we still have one more thing, we're going to touch the settings in the compliance portal and the Purview portal. But let's watch this video on the privileged access management. I'll also share the link, the study link, self-learning, of course, which you can use to learn about the privileged access management. Then we go into the settings before we close. Please pay attention. Thank you very much.
Up, we take a look at the new privileged access management capabilities in Office 365 that allows you to control admin privileges within your tenant to prevent rogue admin activity or unauthorized admin access. This idea is based on the principle of zero standing access, requiring a highly supervised process for admin access privileges. Access requests need to be approved by an authorized set of approvers. Access is then time-bound for a limited duration, often referred to as just-in-time access, and all the activities are logged for auditing purposes. With admins often the target for phishing attacks, the good news is that this process is now being brought to your tenant. Let's take a closer look at how this works. I'll start by highlighting the risks associated with standing privileges. As an admin, you have the keys to the kingdom. So if an admin goes rogue or their credentials are compromised, they could do collateral damage. I'm going to set a journal rule typically used for compliance reasons or legal hold. A journal rule is a powerful command that will start copying every sent or received email to the shadow mailbox. In this case, each email will go to rogueactor@outlook.com, but this could literally be any email address. Imagine if your tenant admin went rogue and set a journal rule against your CEO's mailbox maliciously. By the time the activity is detected, the damage is already done. Let's take a look at how we can limit standing privileges for such high-risk tasks within Office 365. Here, I'm in the Admin Center. You can manage privileged admin access from the Office 365 Admin Center under Settings and Security and Privacy. Let's turn on the feature and set the default approval group. All the privileged access management requests will by default come to this group for approval. And you can set the duration of access in hours. I'll just stick to the 4 hours default. Now that we have enabled privileged access management in Office 365, let's create an access policy to prevent journal rules without approval. I'll click on privileged access and I'm going to configure a new policy. First, I need to select the policy type. This can be either a role or a task. Since we are preventing unapproved journal rules, I'll select task. I'll select the policy scope to be exchange and then the task to be journal rule. Next, I can choose between auto or manual approval. Auto approval is great for certain high volume tasks like password reset, but I'm going to choose manual approval for high risk tasks like setting a journal rule. I'm going to keep the default approver group that I created earlier, but I can choose a different approver group if I wanted to. Aligning your task with privileged access management in Office 365 enables you to get a rich auditing report, both in the case of auto approval as well as manual approval. Now, let's go back to the access policies page. Here is the policy for the journal rule that we just created. Similarly, you can add policies for other high-risk tasks and roles here too. Now that the policy is added, let's switch to PowerShell and run the same journal rule that I ran earlier. You can see that the commandlet fails with an error, asking me to raise an elevation request to get access. I can now request access using the new elevated access request commandlet. You can see this request is scoped to new journal rule with a limited duration of 4 hours. This will also generate an email notification to the approver that clearly calls out the relevant details for the access request. Now, back in the admin center, as the approver, I can see the pending request. I can view the details and choose to approve or deny. Let's go ahead and approve this request. Once approved, as the admin requester, I'll receive an email letting me know that I can go ahead and set the journal rule. Now that I have access, I'm able to set the journal rule and only that. And after 4 hours, this privilege will expire. Lastly, the activities are logged and auditable, so I can review all privilege access requests and approvals that were performed within my tenant. I can get all this information in the Office 365 audit log and use this information to respond to auditor requests. So that was a brief overview of the new privileged access management capabilities in Office 365, which provides just-in-time and just enough access at a more granular task level. We are bringing our learnings and best practices from how we run our data center at Microsoft to your organization by giving you a privileged access workflow that's auditable and that can provide an additional layer of security. We hope you go the extra step of enabling privileged access management capabilities in your Office 365 tenant today. To learn more, please go to the link below. And thanks for watching.
Okay. All right. So that is an overview of what privileged access management does. It gives just enough access to users to be able to perform certain sensitive tasks. Now, as for those of us who don't know, I'm sure we've learned what a general rule is. It's able to duplicate whatever emails are going into a mailbox and send it to a certain backup mailbox that's created. Now, that backup mailbox can be any mailbox. It doesn't have to be one inside the organization. It can be one that is outside the organization. So that is moving data outside, definitely. So privileged access management is able, if turned on, right? Depending on what you're turning it on for, if you're trying to stop the people in the organization from maybe assigning delegate users to a mailbox, you can stop it. And if someone tries to assign a delegate user to a mailbox, they will receive a notification that this is not allowed and they need to request access. Now, one of the first steps in enabling privileged access management is that you have a group of approvers. Now, they're the ones that will be receiving any request for access for this just-in-time access, and then they can grant or refuse to give that access. Now, there are it's the privileged access management is like extra layer of security. It gives you more control over what even certain admins can do. Someone can be an Exchange admin, because someone can be a SharePoint admin and still be blocked from carrying out certain activities. Now, without approval, of course. So it's an integration. It's integrated into the security and compliance portal. It enables and helps it to perform better. Now, going into the configuration of this, it's also configured using policies, and it also makes use of the audit logs. Now, you say everything in compliance portal makes use of audit logs. Of course, because why? You need to be able to, one of the bases of security is monitoring, being able to monitor trends, being able to monitor what actions are being carried out by people in the organization. So definitely audit logs is going to be in the mix. Please, any questions, anything to say at all, please? Any contributions to what we've seen so far?
Hi,
Oh,
Chinke.
hi, Funsho.
Right. So, about the our side risk
Okay,
management. So, for
okay.
example, now an employee downloaded some information from
Mm.
from organization, and will I be able to see the details of the information it downloaded? Like, I don't know if you understand me. Let's say he sent a copy of an email or something, he downloaded it, trying to send it
So,
out. Will I be able to see the content?
so what if you are using insider risk, right?
Yeah,
Insider risk
yeah,
is the policy is going to, depending on the policy you set now, it's going to tell you what content was downloaded. It's going to tell you, oh, this user downloaded certain content that is sensitive information type. Let's say they downloaded a file, for instance, that contains usernames and passwords and so on, right? It's going to tell you, oh, this file was downloaded by so person, and you're able to review. Now, once you review and you see that that content is a compliance violation, you're able to create a case to investigate more. Now, once that case has been created, once an insider risk case has been created, you are able to view what relates to that content, and also monitor further activities of the user that performed this action. Yeah. So you're able to see what content it is. You're able to be notified what sensitive information type is actually leaving the organization. Yeah. And now you are talking about data now being downloaded. Sometimes data can be deleted. Now, if an employee, let's say, now, one thing that you need to know, most of these scenarios, right, there's a statistics, I don't have it off head, but there's a statistics that shows that mostly people that you find wanting in these insider risk management cases are people who have probably failed at a task, people who were probably not satisfied with maybe not given a promotion or something, or people who are not being paid well. There's an underlying reason as to most of the people that carry out these fraudulent activities. You find out that they're displeased in one way or the other, they are not happy with the organization, and then they carry out these things. They are able to download information or delete information, or even terminated employees. Some people might be terminated today. Let's say they are asked to clear out their desk and they have one last swipe before IT is able to block their account or whatever, and then they delete a lot of emails. Obviously, someone who has been carrying out fraud with the company and then is terminated and has one last, they will want to delete whatever details might be on their computer to allow for legal actions to be taken. Now, insider risk will also point out to you, oh, this person has deleted a certain bulk of emails, and your audit log is what is able to make them to give you that report, is what is able to make insider risk give you that report, actually. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other person with anything else to talk about? I hope I'm not moving too fast. I'm sorry, it's because of time. I myself have engagements after this, but I hope I'm not moving too fast. As I mentioned, what we're doing is just an overview. I will share with you the self-learning pathways, and of course, our doors are always open. The group chat is there for whatever questions you have to ask as well. There are more than capable people in that group to answer, as well as myself. Okay. Now, this is the third video, but to be honest, I don't know if we can. It's also on this privileged access management. How many of us were able to join Microsoft Ignite, please? Yeah, were we aware of I noticed it was posted on the group as well when Ignite started. Did anybody here join? No one. Okay. So Ignite usually, oh, okay. I can see. Oh, Funsho, oh, sorry, Albert. Yeah. Albert joined. All right. That's good. So the Ignite is like open season in Microsoft, where they launch a lot of new features and so on. And they launched what is called Copilot this time around, and they have also launched the Preview, Microsoft Preview, which is it's like privacy management for Microsoft 365. It's a combination of this privileged access management as well as the risk compliance and risk, right? It's bringing it into one called Microsoft Preview, and this takes the privileged access management a notch higher. Now, because why? It uses artificial intelligence to be able to protect the privacy of your organization. Now, I won't have much time to play this because I'll need us to go to the next stage of this. This is the last video, but let me drop the link in the chat so that we can watch it at our own time. Yeah. All right. Now going into the compliance portal here, I'd like us to come to settings. Now, in this settings here, I just want to inform us of some of these features here also. Now, you have device onboarding, right, whereby you're able to add devices to your organization's compliance portal, whereby these devices will be monitored, can be monitored as well of any compliance violation. Now, some people are giving company laptops, they go home and they use it to play games, probably download FIFA or download Football Manager on it for those that are gaming fanatics. Some use it to watch YouTube videos, some even download movies. There was this company I was working with a couple of years ago, and I was IT, I was one of the IT support there. And there was this guy who got terminated, and we took his system. Now, the organization makes use of physical desktops, not laptops. So we just pulled out the CPU, and when I plugged in the CPU to go into this guy's system, the amount of movies I saw is enough to open Video Club. It was a lot on a work computer. I mean, let's be honest, that's not supposed to be allowed. Now, this was years ago. Now, this compliance portal will be able to help you to monitor things like that. When you have a device, once you've onboarded a device to the compliance portal, you're able to say, okay, let's monitor this device. You're able to set policies and add devices from here into those. Now, insider risk management we mentioned can also monitor the operating system. Now, if the device is onboarded here, you're able to capture it in whatever is being monitored by the insider risk management. Okay. Then going to the next one, co-authoring. The last two sessions dealt with sensitivity labels and sensitive info types and so on. So in files that are saved in OneDrive and SharePoint can be co-authored. Now, for you to turn on co-authoring, right, there are certain prerequisites that must be there. You have to enable sensitivity labels for SharePoint and OneDrive. And there you have to use the latest of Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise. Now, very key, it might seem very little, but it's very key. You need to use apps for enterprise, meaning if you're using Microsoft 365 business standard or business basic and all of that, it's not going to work. You need the apps for enterprise. You're talking about the E5, E3. Those are enterprise applications. Now, also, any labeling or solutions you've deployed use a minimum supported version of MIP SDK. any scripts or tools you're using that read from or write to the labeling metadata are updated to use new metadata format and location. You can learn more about these prerequisites in here. Now, this is inside the settings of the Purview portal. And after turning it on, when existed labeled and encrypted documents are opened and saved, the sensitivity label information that's currently stored as custom property is copied and saved to a new format in a new location after you've turned on co-authoring. Now, users labels without encryption to documents, the label information is stored in the same new location. And using desktop applications with your OneDrive and SharePoint, you have multiple people able to edit. Now, in our organization, some of us notice that they have certain trackers, maybe to track certain activity. And when you're imputing your information on that tracker, you notice the initials of someone else. Let's say you are AB, and then you notice someone else is typing BC, and you see a circle around the person. That means co-authoring has been enabled in that organization. Now, this here turns on co-authoring for files, because when you have those sensitivity labels applied on a file, if it's very easy for it to be triggered. It's very easy for some organizations to not allow certain things. They don't allow certain people maybe collaborating on a document at the same time to avoid conflict of information. Now, but co-authoring on those documents is allowed if it's turned on from here. Okay, now you also have the compliance manager. Now, I believe I opened up something on that. Yeah, so a compliance manager helps you to automatically access and manage compliance across your cloud environment. This person is able to watch out or make policies to protect your data, implementing certain controls and so on. When we're talking about permissions in the first session of this purview, right, we spoke about the compliance administrator and compliance manager. Now, this person it allows you to carry out certain activities or tasks within the compliance portal. Now, also, this person is able to carry out recommendations. Now, the purview is a very beautiful thing in the sense that you look at it, it gives you certain recommendations, right, to better protect your organization. That's what it does. It allows you to take certain actions that will improve the score. Now, every organization has what is called a secure score. Every organization has it. And once you come to the Purview portal here, I believe it shows it to you. Yeah. So you see my compliance score here is 50%. Now, all of these are being managed by a compliance manager. This compliance score tells you, it gives you an idea to a certain percentage how safe your organization is. Now, are there still things that you need to do to bring your organization up to the bare minimum, at least to 70, 80, or even 100%? What are those things that you can do? Enabling users for multi-factor authentication, enabling insider risk management policies, enabling co-authoring. It will give you, these are some of the recommendations that it can give you that will improve your score. Sorry, we're not going too deep into it, but those are part of you can see key improvements here and their solutions. It gives you all the actions that you can take within the organization to make it more secure. and it gives you a percentage protection against threats, protection information, and so on. It gives you an idea of how far you've gone in protecting, as a compliance manager, how far you've gone in protecting the organization. Moving forward, there's the optical character recognition, OCR. Now, this talks about, you see, when you set a policy to monitor user activities, right? Normally, this policy is searching for emails, is searching for files, folders, and so on. Now, the OCR allows these policies within the organization to search images as well for sensitive data. Now, you can take a picture, for instance, of a credit card, right? And instead of writing out the credit details, you just send that picture outside the organization. Now, that picture contains sensitive information. OCR, enabling OCR, will allow your insider risk management, audit logs, DLP, to be able to search within the image for sensitive information. So meaning, if you're sending out a picture and that picture contains credit card information or bank account numbers and so on, it's going to flag it because OCR is turned on. So it's able to view what details are inside that image. So it's like, it's an optical, it gives you a visual into what images are and allows you to be able to scan those images for certain using certain policies as well. Now this applies to both emails, SharePoint, files shared from SharePoint, images shared from SharePoint, OneDrive, and also within Teams chats. And then there's the information protection scanner and just-in-time protection. Just-in-time protection, we've discussed already a little with the privileged access management. You'll find, privileged access management uses just-in-time access, whereby admins or users are given limited time to access certain activities or take certain actions within the organization. Now, the information protection scanner also, it's more of, it's able to scan data, right, and fish out whatever sensitive information is also in there. Let's see, I believe I have that here. Yeah, so you can run it from within, it can scan. Now, most of these actions that we're talking about, right, even from the insider risk and all of these, can also be done using PowerShell. Now, there are some that you cannot do except you're using PowerShell. Now, I believe in that settings there, yeah, the just-in-time protection, I believe, is turned on from here, but you can also grant access, right, using PowerShell. Sorry. Yeah. This is the information protection scanner. You can also scan using PowerShell. Uh, sorry, this document is going to teach you all about it. All of this information will be shared much later on the YouTube channel and on the group chats for you to view at your own time. So sorry, please, I'm pressed for time. That's why I'm trying to move as fast as possible and can't really discuss much more. But there are certain plans. We are hoping that we can have the conference next year, and hopefully we'll discuss more things at length and have sessions whereby these things can be discussed in more detail, right? But please, any questions so far on all that has been explained or on the settings within the compliance portal, please? Any questions? Okay, no questions. Deji.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I'm
much,
so
Chinke.
sorry I'm rushing this, please. It's because of time. Yeah.
Yes, I see that we actually are both scheduled. Well, thank you so much. It has really been an engaging one. I have personally been able to catch, a lot from this session. Thank you very much for that.
You're
So,
welcome.
I don't know if anyone still have questions to ask with respect to the subject matter for today. Okay. Uh, all right, I think. Okay, so in the absence of none, okay, in the absence of none, I think that will be it for today. Is anyone? Hi, Joseph. Do you want, Joseph, if you have any question, maybe you should drop it in the chat. I see there is some noise in your background. You can just drop it in the chat so that um, we can discuss your question. All right. Okay, so I am also thank you very much, everyone, once again, and I am delighted to tell us that um, today's session is actually the wrap for the year. It has been an interesting one from the beginning of the year when we started the this community. We started with the introduction to Microsoft 365, and then we've traveled around from Exchange Online to SharePoint. We discussed Microsoft Teams. We discussed security. You know, we went into endpoints, and then we also Purview. So it has really been a very interesting one, and this is November, right? So today is actually the last virtual session for the year. So I think we deserve a round of applause for ourselves. Everyone that has joined from the beginning and that has been consistent in joining the session, I believe I'm very much sure that we have added to our wealth of knowledge, from this community. Okay, so I know there are some exciting things also coming up. Just to wrap up the year, but I would leave that for. We're going to update the community on the group chat. We're going to definitely get across to us on the next line of action. There are a lot of plans ahead of us, so that will be communicated to us. So I think yes. So from my end, that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much. And before we go, let me just confirm. And MJ, do we have any information you want to share? Uh,
Hi, MJ. Do you want to talk about the conference?
Yeah, thank you guys.
uh,
I was trying to get away from the noisy place I was. Thank you guys. Thank you, Chinke, if I pronounced your name very well. And I'm very sorry if I murdered it, please. But I guess I tried, Sha. Thank you so much for that very wonderful session. I mean, and to all of you, it's been a very wonderful ride from the beginning of the year till now. Just like Deji said, we've been we started with right from the fundamentals, cloud computing, down to exchange online and all of these, and then we came down to the part of security. As you all know, M365 is a combination of both